I do stand for it. But
I'm well versed in watching podcasts on Instagram, and a lot of times it's a couch and a mic in your hand.
Yeah.
You're
just one of those. And welcome to that podcast. Today is August 30th, 2022. Welcome to Everything But the Scores with Danny Jollis. My name is Danny Jollis. We did take a week off. I do apologize. The episode before, I think if you're paying attention, you hear me. I did a segment, and then I received news that we were probably leaving this household for a solid amount of time. So then there's a break in that episode where I do a normal story, and then I come back, and I'm like, all right, it's probably been 2 hours past since in that span. I was like, a lot just happened. Let's do the next thing. But that's what happened. So we just got back in this household today. What a thrill it is. Subscribe, rate, comment, tell a buddy. Yeah. Someone posted the other day. They were like, I learned cricket through your show, and that made me feel really good. From the Cap episode.
Am I on now?
No, you're not supposed to talk yet. I can't believe you did. Can't believe you just talked. Unbelievable. Join and get involved. Leave a comment. Do things. Send me stories. Lots of good stories this week that people sent me. I'm very appreciative of it. Joining us, co-host. Missed him 2 weeks without him. And then we did a show together on Friday, so we got a little bit of a reunion before this moment.
That was fun.
And then Dave was late, so we had a lot of time before this. Ladies and gentlemen, our co-host, co-producer, no cop for everybody.
Hello, everyone. You won't be able to see me because the camera that I use for me broke, I think. So that'll be great. But
it does put me in a spot where it feels difficult to ask you questions.
That's fine.
Because it feels like I have to. But you're doing well.
Yeah.
Sometimes we have a guest on the show. Sometimes we don't. And today we do have a guest.
What is the camera on both of them? Just me and you?
Yeah. And usually there's a third camera on him, but
Wait, where's your camera?
Right there, bro. Look, right there.
The last 4 minutes, I'm like, where is his camera? I kept looking at something else and not there, obviously.
No. Camera right there.
It's because I'm sitting and the camera's high up, though.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no reason to explain. I should have known.
No, listen, dude, you're doing great.
Okay.
We have a guest this week, and we're very excited to have him. He's one of our best guests. I'm super excited he's here. You might know him as Ahmed on the TV show Ramy. Season 3 coming out
September 30th.
September 30th.
September 30th, man.
His new special, I Love You, Habibi, is on Crave TV.
Only in Canada, though, unless you want to VPN it everywhere else.
Only in Canada.
For now.
Which we don't love. Are you allowed to post clips from it?
I have posted clips on Instagram. There's 3 clips there, so you can see them now. But, I mean, if you want to do it the illegal route, I promote that if you're outside of Canada. Wait, can I get in trouble for that?
No.
I mean, it's too late now. I don't know.
You're trying to have people watch your special. And ladies and gentlemen, his name is Dave Merheje. You're trying to get people to watch your special. You know? They put you in a spot where it's not the easiest thing to find. I think I posted about it, and I was like, I don't even know how you watch this, but you should watch this because you're a great comic. But I also didn't know how someone would watch it as I was advertising your special.
I mean, that could be a thing of like, you know, some people have messaged me in America and they're like, dude, I try to chase this down. So it's almost like I feel it's like an approach like how a hipster builds a cafe and like doesn't put a sign out in front of it. You don't really know what it is. It could be a clothing store. I guess that's
you. How many specials do you have exclusive to Canada?
No, that's so I've recorded something with like my manager in Canada and their production company called Macau Studios, like in 2016, and it came out in like maybe 2018. But that was shot in Canada, but it wasn't with like a streamer or a network. And then it found a home on Amazon Prime in the UK and I believe in the US. Like after a while, you know what I'm saying?
So that's available.
That's available. So this is the first one though. This one with a streaming service.
I feel like you do so many of those JFL tapings that it is hard to sometimes track down Dave Merheje material.
Yeah, I mean, this special was also with Just for Laughs, and it was shot in Montreal. Not this year, last year, so they put it on. But I mean, yeah, this is the first one where it's actually with a network and streamer. Do you know what I mean?
Great. It looks
they shot
great.
like they
It's
did
a
a really
very nicely shot special.
Yeah, they did a great job. And then they didn't. I was gonna say they allowed me like I was, you know what I mean. But we had this idea of putting, because I grew up in Windsor, Ontario, on the border of Detroit, and there's the Ambassador Bridge in the tunnel that you can get to the other side. But they built the bridge and put it on stage, basically,
Awesome.
They pitched that idea, but I didn't think they would do that, and I was like, this is kind of sick.
I've never been able to build anything for one of my specials, and I'm like, that has always been a cool thing of like picking your backdrop. We added a curtain for mine, and it was a nightmare, and that was just a curtain. And I can't tell you, when people see my new special, what you think is a red curtain behind me was actually weeks of emails and debates and putting it up and taking it back down. Absolute nightmare.
Yeah, I mean, thank God I didn't build the bridge. That would have been an absolute nightmare.
You had an actual production crew.
Well, it was a guy named Dave.
Another
Dave. I walked in and they're like, "Do you want to meet the man who built the bridge?" I go, "Yeah, bring him over." I said. It was like Game of Thrones. Bring him over, and yeah, he's like, "My name's Dave." I go, "Dave too, man." And you built the bridge to my heart. I said, "I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I should have."
What a moment, though.
Yeah.
Dave, did you play any sports growing up?
A lot of people, first of all, don't think I'm athletic, and it's understandable. A lot of people don't think I'm strong. A lot of people don't think I'm coordinated, so they don't think I play sports.
And let me just say this: I would never say those things.
Fair enough.
You know what I mean? I see you, and I think to myself,
badminton, because I did play it in gym class.
yeah, but that's no. I'm thinking real. I played basketball with you, and you're not great there. But I think other sports, I think you're about to very much impress me with.
Can I? I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not great, but I do hustle and play defense as a basketball player.
And guess what? That is exactly what I do. And particularly when I used to not be afraid of injuries as a child, I was famous for my hustle.
Yeah. That's all. You're right. I don't know how to shoot, but I can pass in dire needs.
But you play hard and a lot of trash talk. You're talking the whole time.
The whole time. I am ignorant. I have fouled people. I have hurt people. I am a piece of shit as a basketball player. Mm-hmm. I don't care about your emotions. I don't care about your family, your loved ones. If it's to win, you're going down. We're talking on that shit. Court. I am Gary Payton. You didn't think I knew that, but
those of you that don't know sports, Gary Payton, known as the Glove, one of the most obnoxious defensive players of all time. Fair way to put him.
I mean, now it would be Draymond Green.
Draymond Green, Patrick Beverly is famously obnoxious.
Yeah.
There's some people who play defense well, and there's some people who defense well and are also annoying in a way where you're like, I guess it adds to their game, but also annoying.
Yeah.
So you were that.
I am that.
But so as a kid, what did you play?
My dad's a big soccer player. He played goalie. I think he played for the Armenian team in Lebanon.
Wow.
He told me, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. So he loved soccer, and he put me in soccer since I was a kid. I guess maybe when I was 7, 8, or 9. I can't remember. And then I played up until 16, 17, like in like one of those, like, the leagues they do every summer. Nothing obviously professional, but I do remember playing indoor soccer with a travel team in Detroit. And because they found a spot for me. Someone, I guess, couldn't make it. And these were all highly skilled the top Windsor soccer players playing against American top players. And I've never played indoor soccer. But again, I was hustling, and I think we were losing. And I remember in the locker room, my dad was so geeked. I was like, whatever, man, I'm not going to be a professional soccer player. This was so cool. And the coach was yelling at the players. He goes, there's no fucking hustle. And he's screaming at all these top players. And he's like, this guy. And I'm like looking up. He goes, this guy here. I think he said not the best, but he goes, the fucking hustle on this guy. And I was like, he's in around the way. He's like, yeah, I get it, dude. I'm not as skilled because I was only playing that one game.
I've always said about basketball, like the one thing I always brought to the table was hustle, and I'll know where to be. Yeah. If you know where to be on the soccer field, like just where to be, you're so helpful.
Well, I played midfield, and then also when I was playing...
a lot of running at midfield.
Yeah, and I was good at passing, and I could shadow you. That was when I was playing as a kid. The coach would always put me on the best player from the other team because I was annoying. So I would follow you.
This is really what I described with playing basketball.
Yeah,
I was like, my playing basketball with you was You are an annoying little player.
Yeah. So I would follow these like super skilled players, like, you know, for our age. And some of them I think went on to play travel and they were like really great. And yeah, there was one time the one guy was so annoyed by me or not. He pulled my trunks down and he got past me. Like he like dribbled, pulled them down and went around me.
That has to be a foul.
Yeah, I think it was a foul. And
You're not allowed to do that.
No. And I remember my dad also was probably back then kicked off sidelines multiple times.
Ooh, one of those.
I think he told the kid, he goes, I think he said, you suck. I think he said, number 22, you suck. There's like, he always would fight the parents and shit. He'd be like, you guys ain't shit. He still does it. There's been, because my nieces play soccer. And my one niece, Layla, she's really good. And they're all actually, but Layla's really, really good. And he's had to have an intervention multiple times with the family. He'd be like, dude, you can't talk like that to people. This is like not how it was in the 80s or whatever. You should never talk to people like this at all.
Right.
And he was just like.
But it is not aged well. Because I remember as a kid, there was always parents yelling and stuff, but it was always like, it's competitive sports. I feel like in 2022, like, you're in such dangerous Karen territory if you get caught on camera freaking out at a youth game. You're in so immediate viral, check out this idiot territory immediately.
Yeah. And I think was it my sister was like, hey, you need to relax. And he's like, well, maybe if you raised he's like, we're Lebanese, like, you know, with his thick accent, he goes, maybe you should raise your kids right or something like that, like in front of all the other parents. Like,
oh, boy. That's a rough one.
Yeah.
You don't want internal fighting. I reffed flag football for a couple summers, and I had some parents that went.
Yeah, these parents like.
But I'll tell you what worked. I found very effectively with parents is a stare. Like if they were talking to me, if they'd say something like "You're missing every call," I would just literally turn to the sideline and go like this, and just watching them all because everyone would suddenly look at who I'm looking at, and then it was just me just. And pretty quickly they'd be like, you missed it though. And they'd like kind of back away. And I'd be like, and then the other thing I would do is I would tattletale. I would go to the head coach and I'd be like, I'm not going to get yelled at.
Well, yeah, you don't want to keep getting yelled at. I mean, I'll tell you this, bro. I'm not really into snitching. If you know anything about me, I'm not in the streets.
Yeah.
But some people would say that guy won't snitch. I have snitched maybe once, but not like anything heavy. I'm not like nobody did anything. No one went to jail or anything like that. I'm just saying I might have been like, yo, he's in the other, like whatever, at a house party, whatever. But I'm saying I don't normally condone snitching.
Yes, I snitched a little, but
I'm just saying I get it.
But it's happening in front of everybody. That's not a snitch. I mean, you're doing it in front of everybody. I mean, what am I keeping? I've never snitched on anybody on a serious level. I've never really been put in a position. That's not true. I've been put in a position where I could have snitched, and I did not. But I wasn't. But there was no stakes. I've been put in a situation where I could have snitched, but it wasn't like it could be you or this person. It was a situation where somebody was like, we're looking for this, and I was like, nah. It's like it wasn't going to come back to me.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
I think snitching, the thing that's really tough is if you could potentially fall on you and you're put in a position, that's where I'm like, when people don't snitch, I'm like, you're just willing to go to jail? Yeah, that's not snitching. I'm very impressed by that.
That's why you're going to do 10 years.
Yeah. Just because of loyalty to this person. Like,
and they always have a great, energy about it when they're talked to about it. They're like, I got in the game.
Yeah,
I'll see my way out. What? Like,
you're like, way to go, dude.
Okay, dude, that's great. That's great.
Do you watch any sports currently?
Yeah, like I'll watch basketball, but I mean, I don't know, like, I'm not like watching it all the time, but I will watch for sure. But I'll take part in it and enjoy it. My boy is a comic, Alex Pavone, big into sports, very funny guy, but he gets irritated when I try to talk about sports because he's like a dedicated sports fan.
So that's exactly what this podcast isn't about. This podcast is about welcoming people.
Yeah. So he'll get really agitated. So what I used to do to him is I'll send him facts. I'll Google it about players or something. And he's like, you don't know, right? So I would do that to him a lot because it would just infuriate him. And he's small, right? So it'd just be funnier too. He's losing his hair.
I mean, I will say there is something to like when I am into a game, if like somebody who doesn't know tries to get involved, and I'm like. Oh. But I've gotten really good about it. I've gotten much better over time. But I also haven't had a team be really good in a while. So I'm curious what would happen. It's been years since one of my teams was actually making a run.
Well, I would message him because he's from Toronto, big Raptors fans, right? Big Raptor fans. So I'd message him. Drake is the ambassador, right? And I would be like, I think Drake should have a session with all the players to talk about their emotions, and maybe that'll help them play better on the. And he'd just be like, I would call him. I was like, I have a pitch for you, and then he'd just lose it.
I remember when all of Canada wasn't allowed in the stadium except Drake. That was my favorite part of the.
That was
COVID.
yeah.
My favorite part of COVID was nobody in the stands at Raptors games except Drake.
Yeah.
Drake's just allowed in there, and it was like, how? Why? What are the rules? I mean, we're just openly going to allow Drake. So it'd just be Drake on the sidelines. It was like it was so bizarre.
It was very, very bizarre. I mean, that's fame and money, but I also did like the bubble.
Oh, the bubble was the great time.
What a great time of basketball.
In the midst of COVID, the NBA was like, we're going to restart the season in a bubble, and they created an actual bubble. And the players these are guys who are used to living a very crazy lifestyle, and they are just trapped on a Disney resort, not allowed to talk to anybody except other players and their coaches. The amount of shenanigans that went down in that bubble.
You think so?
Jimmy Butler started a coffee company. I mean, they were just so bored that they kept just doing bits. It was the first time, and now it's really started. I think it debatably started the new culture of the NBA, where it's like we're really seeing how fun NBA players are. I think that started it. Was you for the first time saw players be like, I'm just going to show my personality because I'm so bored. So Jimmy Butler started doing bits. People just started doing bits. They started doing podcasts with each other. They were IG living a ton.
Oh, I didn't know that.
All that shit led to what now is players are constantly IG living. People are. Draymond Green has a podcast he does after every game where he's just like, so this is the bullshit that went down during this game. I mean, they're just openly talking. And I think the bubble started it. That's my personal theory.
I mean, I hear you, but I loved it. Was so entertaining. It was so even if you're not a basketball fan or you don't know much about it, I was like very entertained. I was like, this is super cool.
It was the best. And in that time where there was nothing else.
Nothing, man.
And the fact the NBA was like, we're going to figure out a way.
Yeah. The commissioner came in and he's like, let's do this, dude.
Let's do it. And they did it, and nobody died. That's all that matters. Dave, it's time to start the podcast.
What?
So now we start the podcast.
That's fine. I'm all about the before the storm.
Wow.
Wait, is that the dawn of a new day?
Both of those things.
Do they make sense?
It's about to be the dawn of the storm. Let's play the theme song. Let's go.
You're a number one fan, so you know the stats. Heard all the pundits talking, so you know enough of that. Maybe it's time to hear some crazy folks chat about all the other stuff that's behind the net. But maybe you don't care about playing ball, and you want to hear the gossip whether big or small. Maybe it's time to hear some funny folks talk about what goes on when the batter don't walk. Maybe you'd like to hear a little more. Maybe you don't even care about sports. Either way, go on and buckle up your shorts. Cause this is everything but the scores with Danny Jollis. Yeah, doggity.
And we're back. Welcome back to the podcast. Dave, you do grow up in you grew up and live kind of still in Canada.
I don't have a property or a house or an apartment there, but I do frequent there for work and seeing family
All the time I'm trying to see you, and you're in Canada.
I'm always in Canada. I love it though. It's great quality of life. I love it.
I've never gotten to spend I went up there for a corporate gig in Vancouver the last time I was there.
Yeah.
That's the first time post-COVID I was up there, but it was
Look, I'll tell you this though. I'm grown to like Vancouver, but like what's really like you got to come to Toronto. If you want to come and I go there with you and we show you a good time, you're going to like it.
I would love to do that.
All, yeah, that's all I'm no disrespect to Vancouver. I love it. I've done shows there. My friends are there. I enjoy the city, but I mean, I'm Toronto over
I had a decent time. I will say flying in and out of Canada is a pain in the ass with COVID.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, of course.
It was
a pain, yeah.
The amount of testing and apps and bullshit.
Arrive app,
yeah.
Right? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, Arrive Can.
Arrive Can, there it is. Yeah. I mean, look, Canada's trying to protect its people, dude.
Yeah,
we're not savages out here.
America, and America treats Canada like it's a whole thing. Everything's a problem.
Everything's a problem.
Everything's a problem. So, but knowing that you're from Canada, we have our first story, and it's from a Canadian Football League game.
Yeah, are you? Go ahead.
So,
I know the league.
You know the league.
Yeah, I've been to games.
Did you grow up? So you grew up watching Canadian football. So Canadian football, by the way, for those of you that don't know sports, Canadian football, it's like football, but it's like classic Canada. It's like you've taken football, and you've changed it in seemingly innocuous ways. Like it doesn't add or take away from the game, but they have different rules.
Yeah.
And it's annoying. It's very frustrating as a football fan to watch because you're like, what? Players are doing things that aren't allowed. The goalposts are up further.
Yeah.
Everything's annoying. Explain.
I mean, that's not the approach I was gonna take.
There's
I don't know. I didn't
Everything's
organize
annoying.
it. I don't even know some of the changes because I'm not much of a fan of the CF. I mean, I've watched games, but I mean, I'm not like watching it regular, like as a fan. But I mean, I knew a player who did stand up as well, and he was a CFL
Really?
player. Yeah, John Avery from the Toronto Argonauts. I think he played for the Dolphins.
Usually it's a people play in the NFL and it's a fallback league, but they make good money up there.
And he took me to, we used to hang out. He'd come to us. Booked us on show. He'd do shows with us. Very funny guy on stage, off stage. And, he took us to Argonaut games.
So cool.
Like a couple times. I think we went to parties where the players, I think, is it Damon Allen? Am I Damon Allen, the quarterback? He was a quarterback for the Argos, I mean, at the time. But yeah, I don't know much. I'm not a big fan, but I know it.
So this game happened on August 13th, 2022.
Yeah.
And it's the BC Lions versus the Calgary Stampeders. And if you know this show, Dave, there's one thing in the world that I live for, and it's a cat on the field.
I think I know what you're talking about, yeah.
And we didn't get a cat on the field, but we got a rabbit on the field. There was a rabbit in the middle of the game that comes on the field, and the shenanigans that followed. The reason I love a cat on the field is because you can't catch a cat.
You can't catch a cat at all.
Can't catch a cat. Can't catch a rabbit either.
Really?
Hard to catch a rabbit.
I didn't know that. I thought rabbits kind of like are go, yo, you got me.
Oh, so wait until you see this rabbit. So we're. I don't
It
want
is
to.
Damon Allen, by the way.
Damon Allen's name of the player.
Is it Damon Allen? Did I get it right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'll do. Yeah, I wanted to give it the respect. Montreal Alouettes. How funny is that?
Love. Oh, some of the worst names in the game. So here's the rabbit.
Oh shit!
Oh wow.
Rabbit
Whoa,
on the
this
field.
rabbit's perched up though.
Oh yeah. Oh, he's ready to go.
Bro.
He's focused. He's locked in. He's locked in, and then he's off.
Oh my
my
god!
God.
Dude. Whoa!
Bro.
What the?
Yeah.
Holy
He looks like he's about to
smokes!
catch an interception. His movement's
He
incredible.
is moving
Yeah.
fast.
Dude, that's not a real rabbit. That can't be a real.
Oh, that's a real
spring
rabbit.
training for this rabbit.
And then so what happens next is to me what's really fascinating because at this point it's a problem. The whole game is stopped, and then they go, "We're gonna send one guy. We're gonna have one dude try to figure this out."
Is that
So
the guy?
No, that's a football player going, "No, there's no way." Here we go.
Oh, here we go.
This guy is now on an impossible chase.
This looks crazy. Why is he even? Oh!
And then what? And then a quick. Oh! And then they go down. We almost
Oh.
fall in. And then he just gave up. And he runs off the field.
Rabbit's just breaking ankles out there.
And then
Oh my gosh.
Rabbit just chills out, having defeated him. Oh, he's gone.
Whoa, dude, he should go to the compound.
He really should. I
Yeah,
mean, he
this
played
is-
great. And then the crazy part is they just go back to the game. They literally gave up trying to catch this rabbit.
And they let the rabbit
I
hang
don't
out?
know. I could not figure out what happened to the rabbit. It seems like they just let this rabbit stay on the field because they were like, we will never catch him.
Was this on Sports Center in America or am I
It was
saying
on a not top 10. That's how I saw it.
on a top 10 or a not
Not top 10. So that's the thing. Sports Center does like a not top 10 where it's like the most embarrassing things. And they were like, this rabbit on the field. But I saw that having an addiction for this kind of thing. And I was like, oh, I have to find the full clip.
When they say not top 10, are they taking a dig at it?
Oh, yeah. It's like players fucking up.
Oh,
It's kind of like Shaq'd in a Fool almost.
Yes, it's like Shaq's in a fool.
okay. I mean, this is great. That rabbit was on steroids.
That rabbit was
Yeah.
moving fast.
Nobody,
that rabbit
nobody
was
got close to the rabbit.
Well, this one guy. I mean, what are we doing with the one guy? I mean, it's
Hey,
like,
hey, Greg, you're up.
yeah, like you gotta know better than just a one.
Dude, he had so much energy at the beginning, and then he
Oh,
goes, "Yeah."
I
At
mean,
this
you
point,
just-
he goes, "Fuck."
I mean, you gotta like, and both, particularly this moment. Once he gets his ankle shook, that's the moment where it was like, once he got ankled, it was like, get off the field.
And he has no equipment. It's just hands, which is even funnier. He's just
Yeah.
trying to grab it.
It's-
Does
I
it
don't-
have a net?
It's insane to send one guy out in this. As someone who follows cats on the field, so the second I saw a rabbit in the field, I was like, that's uncatchable. That's uncatchable without a team.
So
Without a
how do
unit.
they catch the cats with a team?
Team, everybody. It's a swarm situation. And they still get them maybe sometimes. And then the best part about a cat on the field, and we didn't get to see this with the rabbit, I would have been curious. The best part of cat on the field is once they do catch a cat, cats are vicious. So the cat will bite whoever catches them as
Oh
they're
my
running off the
God.
field, constantly getting bit. It's the best. I live
Oh
for
my
it.
god! Why are cats on the field though?
Sometimes cats are on the field.
Yeah, but I mean, has anyone found the history of, are they hanging out at the stadiums, or does fans bring cats, or?
So it doesn't happen often. So unfortunately, it's like, that's why, while this podcast is, I would say, the biggest thing that I promote on this podcast is
Cats on the field.
cats on the field.
But I mean, has anyone tapped into like a 30 for 30 on the cats?
No, and it's the first episode of this podcast ever is about the St. Louis cat, the rally cat for the St. Louis, and the legal battle went down over getting the cat.
What are you getting the cat? Like,
So once they got the cat, right? So they get this cat. The cat bites the shit out of some kid. Hilarious. One of the funniest clips of all time. This kid getting the shit bit out of him by this cat.
is the kid crying?
This poor kid who just works, this is his night job.
Yeah.
They go, "Here, they finally catch the cat, and they'll take him, and then it's just this cat just biting him as he's trying to run off the field. And he just basically finally bit the shit out of this kid. And then this lady got the cat. This lady was like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry, it's my cat." They gave her the cat. Immediately after the game, they were like, oh, meanwhile, the second the cat goes away, the St. Louis Cardinals rally, and they end up winning the game. So all of a sudden, it's like, this cat's a hero. Then they gave the cat to the woman, no big deal, except all of a sudden they're like, wait a second, who was this woman? Do we even know it wasn't her cat. It was just a random cat. So then they had to go find out who this woman was who took the cat. They were able to get the cat back, and then, and this is another thing we stand for on this show, PETA stepped in. And PETA was like, because the team was like, we're going to adopt this cat. We're going to adopt the cat. We're going to make him. And PETA was like, no.
Yeah,
you don't
have
have the right living situation for this cat. And they were like, we have millions and millions and millions of dollars. The cat will live like a king.
Yeah.
And the PETA would not let them have it. Legally fought them, and they were unable to get the cat.
But wait a minute, who's the cat? No one found out who the cat belonged to? And who's this lady? Just some random person?
Some random lady who just tried to take the cat.
And nobody looked after the kid? Did the kid sue for getting bit?
No.
Is he all right?
I don't know.
That's crazy that this poor kid was getting destroyed by this cat.
Yeah.
This is a wild, I'm interested in the origin of these cats and their attraction to fields.
It's got to be that since there's so much space, food gets dropped all over the place. I'm sure there's mice and there's rats, and then that just attracts the cats. So there's so often more times when there's nobody there than there are people there that they've got to just take up that space.
So they're hanging out before.
So the Oakland A's right now, famously we talk about on this show because nobody goes to their games, cats are actively living in that stadium. There's probably, they claim 20 to 40 cats are just, feral cats are just living in the stadium because nobody goes to the games.
Why doesn't anyone go to the games?
And so with something like this, this rabbit or this cat, they're in this stadium. They usually hide, but something must have happened where they got knocked out of their hiding place, and all of a sudden they're out there and there's all these people, which they don't love, all random people, and all of a sudden they see this open field with 20 people on it, a massive amount of space. Then they're on the field, and then everybody starts chasing the cat.
What a nightmare to wake up from a nap.
In front of thousands.
Yeah, you thought being a roommate and waking up, your roommate's got a fucking friend in the living room.
This cat's like, oh,
just
nice place, easy, all of a sudden.
But why aren't people going to the Oakland athletics games?
Not just the people not going to the Oakland athletics games, and this is a story that we were going to potentially cover later. Somebody got caught getting a little blowjob up in the upper stands this past week because so few people are at the game that there was nobody within eyesight, but some idiot cameraman decided to zoom in on it.
And it was just
Or it
a
might have
couple,
been
I
someone-
guess.
It might have been someone photographing. Somebody, for some reason, somebody tattletaled on this poor couple. And so, but that's how empty the stands are. They were alone in their section, just trying to have a nice time.
Oh, that's not. Yeah, have a nice. But I mean, no one knows what did the team's not doing good, and this decline happened.
Team's not doing good. They just aren't drawing.
This has been for years, though.
It's been a build up to this.
Yeah, this is not like.
Well, when your team is good, you draw better. When your team is bad, you draw less. Like right now, the Nationals, who usually draw incredibly well, aren't drawing that well because it's like we're not in contention. We're a rebuilding year. It's kind of, the tickets become cheaper. Yeah. You go to the game but then it's like, hey, you get to see professional baseball. But we don't draw. Oakland A's are not drawing in a way that is impressive. They're drawing 5,000 to 10,000.
Are the Giants, the San Francisco Giants,
I don't think they're having a great year, but they draw.
They draw.
They draw.
Could it be a location thing too? Or
Oakland A's have always struggled. I mean, this is Moneyball. This is the plot of Moneyball. Is how shitty that franchise is.
I mean, but they had Ricky Henderson.
They've had some great players. They got some great players currently. Couldn't name one for you, but I'm sure they have some.
Damn it.
I wish I could name
I love their jerseys.
Great jerseys.
Their hats. I have an
color.
Oakland A's hat.
Oh, it's a good one.
Yeah.
And you kind of wearing Oakland A's colors right now.
I got it in Astoria, Oregon at a sporting goods store. No, a Seaside.
Ooh.
Yeah.
There you go.
And I saw it and I was like, I've been looking for one of these. Like one of the, like not a snap, I think a snapback. And I was like, what a perfect scheme of a hat, color scheme, everything. That's why I was like, it saddens me that they're not doing well because their merch is fire.
Their merch is fire. They got they've got a movie built around,
I didn't even know that was built around them.
And it's a real story. That's the whole thing, is that they famously don't have any money. And then every now and then they have a good season and everybody's like, it's great. Baseball is a problem where the salary cap is different for every team, which is ridiculous.
I can see how that can create problems.
It's a problem.
Yeah.
It's a problem.
So are we solely blaming Alex Rodriguez?
No, we're solely blaming their owner.
Okay.
We're solely going to blame their owner who won't spend money and who won't sell the team. Because there's also nothing wrong with selling the team, giving it to somebody who has $1 billion, and then, allowing that to happen. But instead, this owner just sits on this team and is like,
He's losing shitload of money.
But I guess. I don't even know. I don't know how monetarily it makes any sense. Because, clearly they're losing money this year. Ain't nobody going to the games.
So it's that empty.
It's very empty. Animals are living in the stadium.
The morale of these players is imagine turning around and you see 40 cats.
Do you know how hard it is to get to the majors and to work that hard?
Yeah.
And then you're just like, and then it's also crazy for like the Yankees who are playing in like Yankee Stadium, packed house, and then they travel to Oakland and it's like, what, we playing in a minor league? What are we doing? This is Aaron Judge. He's having an MVP season. And he's playing for nobody.
But the Yankees have been good for years, so they're
Yankees
fine.
are always good.
Yeah. Okay.
Every 5 years they have a bad season, and their fan base is like, "See, we're just like the rest." It's like,
no, you're not.
Get out of here. All you do is root for the best team. The rabbit on the field.
Yeah.
Iconic, classic.
So yeah.
I'd live and die for this. This is what I wake up in the morning for. This is what I watch sports for moments like these.
Yeah.
We'll do our next story. Oh, hey there. During this break in the action, I just wanted to throw out there that this is the perfect opportunity to write a comment or subscribe, or if you're listening, you can just give us a rating and whatever you want. This is the moment where during this break, since we don't have a Patreon or anything, this is the moment to do something like that. It'd mean a lot. All right, back to the action. The story is one that we've been predicting on this show for quite some time, as we've been talking about a problem in this country right now, which is mascots going too far. This one was they've started this thing where they'll play a peewee football team will play against the mascot during halftime. That's become a new thing.
Like, what do you play? Like
they'll play a football game against the mascots.
It's just the team versus the one mascot.
One mascot or a collection of mascots. In Atlanta, they did it, and it went viral because the mascot was like trucking kids.
Yo, this is amazing. Like, what do you like? He was clotheslining them.
He was stiff arming these kids.
This is football.
This is football. This is football. I'll pull it up in a second.
And the people went nuts. Like, this is bad. Obviously,
the crowd is. You hear the crowd being like, "It was Boomer, the Atlanta Braves mascot." So first off, you have to say that when you see it, is you're like, "Boomer, the mascot's going too hard," and so Boomer is trucking kids.
That's wild though. That stiff arm's a great stiff arm. No.
Oh yeah.
Like whether it's
this is So that's Boomer. And these are children, and then here we go. Now we're starting to see it.
Oh!
Completely uncalled
Yo,
for.
is that after he stiff armed everyone? He pointed at the crowd.
It seems as if he was cocky about it, and I don't think understood the assignment, which is we're still supposed to be playing a fun game with kids, and not boom, boom. That shouldn't be happening. There's no reason a mascot is doing this.
I know.
And so where's our other story? In Baltimore, Poe is doing the exact same bit, and he tore his ACL during halftime. I feel like I'm the only person paying attention to this problem. I feel like I'm the only person. I've been calling it out for weeks now. For months, I've been like, mascots are going too hard. It has to be stopped.
That's insane. An injury.
This is him on the cart with his being carted off. I mean, this is a mascot being carted off the field.
Dude, and it's so crazy that they have to protect his identity that they can't take his mask off.
And you want to know the saddest part that I believe that no one's talking about?
What?
The mascot came back out after halftime. Yeah, this is him tearing his ACL. This is this poor... Yeah, because he's being tackled by a child, and he's tearing his ACL. During this break in the action, if you have a story idea, send it to me. You can email it to me. You can message me on Instagram. You can message me on Twitter. You can message me on all the ways to send it to me. Send me ideas. I'll shout you out. I like it. I don't know everything. Send me ideas. All right, back to the show. Some of the best comedians of that. And we're back. This is Quick Hits. Let's do some quicker stories.
Yeah,
stuff that's...
This is like what is it? Part of my interruption or something like that? Like
PTI, great show.
I could be like, I've always wanted.
Great show, but we kind of let this go. There's a chance we just do one story. But we're going to start by shouting out somebody. Those of you watch Hard Knocks ever? Do you even know what that is? Hard Knocks is a documentary show on HBO Max that follows a football team during their preseason.
Oh, no, but I've watched... I'm sorry to derail you. Is the one that's... Shit, it's on Netflix, and it's like football players.
Last Chance U?
Yes, and I loved it.
Oh, Last Chance U. I mean, you want to cry.
Yeah, Buddy. Remember Buddy?
Oh, hated Buddy.
He had a heart attack, didn't he?
I don't know what Buddy's up to. Did he have a heart attack?
I don't know. I thought he was just screaming at people. It was insane.
Did you watch all the seasons?
All the seasons, yeah.
I mean, the coaches never get better.
No.
That's the amazing part. Last Chance U is a really great example of just like you just watch and you're like, oh, I hate the coach.
Yeah, the coaches are insane.
Like the coaches are bad people. Not ideal. No, they just follow. So this is them following a professional football team.
Oh.
And they have these big team meetings, and usually there's like a speaker or something. Josh Adams is the name of this comedian in Detroit. Have you ever met him? Do you know who?
I know Josh. Yeah.
I've never met him before.
Tall. Is
Black,
he tall?
Black
yeah.
dude. Yeah.
Yeah, I met Josh.
Josh. So it's a team meeting for the Detroit Lions.
Yeah.
And they go, we're going to have a comedian do a performance.
No.
And I at home went, no.
Yeah. I'm saying
can't
no.
Happen.
This can't. Yeah.
This can't happen. I do corporates, and I know how horrible that is. This is a nightmare corporate.
In the locker room.
It's in their meeting room.
Are they wearing the uniforms? Are they wearing their gear?
No, but it's just them. It's just all the players.
Like during the day? Like, this is insane.
This is a night activity, or I don't know what it is. There's some activity. They were like, this is a good idea. And Josh Adams doesn't bomb. And I consider it to be the greatest performance of all time. I've never seen a greater stand-up comedy performance in my life.
Like he's getting laughs, I'm assuming.
They put first off the fact. So immediately I'm like,
how does he open?
He played it brilliantly because you've done corporates.
Barely, yeah. But
really,
yeah.
I've done a solid chunk. So because the problem with the corporate is usually the problem is everybody in this room knows each other. And you're the thing stopping them from leaving.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So not just are you annoying, and they always have you doing. They're always like, every corporate I do, they're like, we're thinking you do an hour and a half, and you're like, I'm gonna beg you to take me down to 45. Yeah. Like you have to beg them to do less.
Yeah.
So it's always like they don't want you there. You're following a raffle or an auction or some bullshit, and everybody knows each other, so nobody feels comfortable. Their boss is right there. So nobody feels safe laughing. It's the least fun environment. And any joke that isn't about them, they'll hate.
Yeah.
And then you factor in a professional football team, locker room culture, such a different.
Yeah.
And he goes up there and he just opens with like, your coach is crazy. And he just starts roasting the coach. He starts roasting a couple of players. They only showed like 4 minutes of it on this documentary, but he's doing well.
And they must love that he said their coaches, because is their coach crazy?
Yeah. Their coach
what
is
makes
insane.
him crazy?
His name, MCDC is what he's referred to as, but he is Dan Campbell's his name. He's a former tight end. Looks like an absolute monster. So first off, he's just one of the biggest, strongest dudes. He talks like this, man, and everything's about this. And he's always like, man, we just gotta play better. He is a true just got like that kind of guy, but he's actually a head coach and he's actually good and the team loves him. But he's a psychopath and he's just a coach who will be like he'll do down ups with the whole team. like he's doing it with them.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He's just big. He's as big as all the players, which is so rare. And so I think he opened with your coach should be running down the field. Like, get that guy on the field. It it kind of gets this ha 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 ha. But I was watching being incredible. can't believe he got anything. And then he's like, well, but then he's like, your quarterback over here, and he starts making fun of the quarterback.
What's wrong with the quarterback? Like,
I can't remember what he says, but it's just ha ha ha, like even more laughs.
getting
And he's just getting them. And I just was watching, being like, this is a masterclass. I've maybe never seen a greater performance.
and good for him.
Because I think people watched it and they were like, oh, that's impressive. And I was like, knowing that
What
setup,
goes in.
I would say no to it. I would absolutely say no to it.
100% say no to it.
I would say no to it, or I'd be like, look, I'll go in there as a character, or I'll do something like that. But like, just Danny Jollis, just talking to them.
He is funny. I've seen him do stand up multiple times. He's really good. So I mean, that's still a situation that's like I would not like.
I can't even fathom how he did it.
Dude, I don't even know. That's like wild.
Wasn't that wild?
That's so weird too because I know him. That's so awesome.
Unbelievable.
I mean, I grew up in Windsor. I'm like
Yeah, no, and as I said, I was like, oh yeah, you might know this guy.
Yeah.
I never met him or heard of him, but I was like, it's the greatest performance I've ever
That's so awesome.
seen. Like, I can't believe he got through it.
Yeah.
Oh, I started sweating at home, like just watching.
I would have made fun of Barry Sanders and bombed. They would have looked at me like that's the only player you know.
Which would have been it. Oh, I know. I mean, first off, like he knew the team. Like he did a great job, and also without even knowing it, but like I'm sure he was also given a ton of rules because that's every corporate. Is also you're given 1,000. Just handcuff me before I go on stage. Make sure I can't do anything that I actually like, and it's always like. Particularly, and
he's up there talking about people's drug addictions.
Yeah,
Like,
but that's the thing. He didn't. It was all about.
What I
It was
mean,
all like
like
good jokes.
yeah.
It was like good about football. It was all fun. It was like just beautifully done.
Oh, it's amazing.
Because when you do crowd work at a corporate, it has to be positive. You really always want to. You don't
can't.
want to attack someone. If you attack them, it's like you're attacking me in front of my boss, and again, then you're just and the crowd because it's like that's Jenny.
Well,
Can't make fun of Jenny.
Dude, long time ago in Canada, I was doing. It was a collective of us booking our own shows in around Ontario, so small towns around Canada, and we had booked this place in Ajax. This venue was it was a corporate, but it wasn't like a proper corporate. It was like these people. In a sense that it wasn't a proper corporate, it was just that all the audience was from this particular grocery store that they worked at. Like it wasn't labeled as a corporate, right? So and back then I was like, if you heckled me or did anything, I would really like go for your jugular. Maybe not in the best way. Like I would just pop off. Like so, I really lose it on this guy.
Great on social media these days.
What they're going? This is before. This is 07 or 08.
But you know what I mean? Like that's something I see on
all the time
on social media where I'm like these videos where people are like, watch me take down this heckler, and I'm like. No reason for that.
No reason.
To be negative. That is. I'm literally watching like in the same way that like Josh Adams' performance. I'm like, you have no clue how well he's doing. I'm watching those being like, people watching this don't realize how bad a choice that was by that comic.
Yeah. It was like not a. I'm going off on him. The audience is laughing, but like I get off, and now this guy's pissed, and he's bigger than me, and he's like, and now I'm like, he could be. But I'm with a couple comics, and I'm with one in particular that's performing who set it up the show, but also. Is not to be played with, so he can handle himself. And I knew I had a protection. So I'm inside. My boy comes inside. He goes, he wants to do something to you, but I told him to chill out. So it's contained. So I was like, oh, okay. And then 2 weeks later or a week later, we get word that, they all went to their job. They worked at this grocery store. And I guess somebody from that show went up to that guy in the aisle when he was putting like stocking stuff up. He goes, man, something like way to ruin the comedy show. And this guy punched that guy in the face, laid him out in the aisle, and then got fired.
I bet he did.
He's been at that job for like 17 years or something like that. And at the time I go, I think that's a complete victory for me against a heckler. But I mean, now I wouldn't like. It's such an awful thing that it's just insane. Like it just went too far all the way into like.
That's also like I'll do anytime because I'll do corporates because I can do a bunch of terrible headlining gigs or whatever and stuff, or I can do one corporate a month, pay my mortgage, know I'm okay, and then I just live my life.
Yeah.
Like you can just do it that way. So I like them and I'll do them and I've gotten pretty good at them. But sometimes you'll be on it with multiple comics. And the biggest thing I see is people like, even though they're like, I won't curse, blah, 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 but they'll treat any sort of heckler interaction like a normal show where it's like, shut it down. And it's like, not at a corporate.
Yeah.
We are friendly.
Yeah, you can't. I've done some. You can't do that.
I did one this past, the Eugene one was technically a corporate, but it wasn't really. It was more of a charity show, but still in that world. And like, guy up front was like a former center, and I immediately was like, centers are the best position. Like, you always spin it to the heckler interaction is like, what you do is the best, actually.
Yeah.
You're probably the best employee here. Like, I'll always spin it that way of like, this guy's must be a freak at selling. It's like, that's the joke.
Yeah, you don't want to like it.
You always want to build, because then it gets a big laugh and everybody's also like, it's okay. But you always want to spin it positive.
Yeah.
And in general, I like doing that. I don't like taking people down in regular shows also. I always try to like build people up.
No, I don't want to take people down as well. I mean, but if you push me, that's what I'm saying. But,
Listen, there's a couple times a year, somebody's like, I'll literally say it. I'll be like, do you just want me to hurt your feelings? Like, I will. Like, what are we doing?
That's very fun for me.
Yeah, like, I will do it. We'll do one more story. Nick Kyrgios is a tennis player.
Yeah, I've heard of him.
Very
I don't know. Yeah.
eccentric man. And he, a couple months ago, in the, I believe, Wimbledon finals, was playing, and a woman was, I guess, interacting in some way. It wasn't really being picked, but she was drunk and talking.
Trying to holler.
Okay. And he was caught on mic being like, because I guess he had said it to the guy, was like, this woman's talking. And then, like, the fifth time he was like, he just, on mic, was like, we're at the Wimbledon finals, and this woman is drunk. Get her out of here. Get her out. And then they go, which one is she? He goes, look for the drunk. She's had 700 drinks. Look for the one who has had 700 drinks. That was the interaction. What an embarrassing moment for that lady. What an embarrassing moment for him. What a moment that was just kind of something I saw, and I was like, I didn't even talk about it here because I was like, who cares? The woman has decided to sue Nick for embarrassing him, for embarrassing her, defamation. So now everybody knows her name. Nobody knew her name. Her name is Anna Pallas now. So now we know who she is. She's a Polish lawyer. Suing him because he was like, she's being loud and drunk. And now
that's insane to me. I knew you were going there. I knew suing was coming at it. I knew she probably woke up and she goes.
See, I just
knew
like,
suing was
because to me, I'm like, you wake up and you go, ugh, could be terrible. But she wasn't really shown on camera. Like, nobody knew it was her, really. Like, she could have just been embarrassed quietly.
I mean, there's a level of fuckery to look. There's a level of I can understand heckling and being drunk at different sports, but if you're doing that in tennis or golf, there's something mentally maybe unstable with you that you decided to heckle at a Wimbledon. Like, that's just
it's like stand up. It's like heckling and stand up where you're like, and you're not supposed to.
Yeah.
Tennis and golf are the two
Things
sports
you
where
can't-
it's like,
insane.
and for the record, I stand by this. Stupid that you can't. I don't understand why golf and tennis have these rules. It creates an unfun environment. Like,
it's a very quiet moment.
oh, it's super. I mean, golf is awkward. When
Yeah,
it's just like that moment before a shot where everybody's like, shut up.
I'm not. I agree with you, but I feel like if it's gonna go, if you feel that like, hey, I could heckle at tennis, and you get told something, you should be able to. You shouldn't sue, because if you feel like, hey, I'm heckling now, you've made that choice. That's my only problem there. Was like, I thought
you're out of your mind. She's
out
out
of
of her mind.
and is he gonna pay?
No.
He's like, this is Imagine going to court though, and
Because remember, it isn't like you're suing. On many reasons why I would have discouraged. If I knew this young lady, I would have discouraged her to do this. One of many reasons, I'd be like, hey, you're not just suing you and I, who might be like, what can I pay to just make this go away so I don't have to pay a lawyer? But it's like, this guy's worth millions. This guy's a very good tennis player. He's got the money to fight you in court.
Yeah.
He isn't going to roll over, right? Like, you know, that the idea of a frivolous lawsuit a lot of the time is to be like, we can settle for this amount, and you and I go, it's going to cost me about the same to settle, probably less money to settle than it is for me to go to court, pay for a lawyer, do the whole thing. So a lot of times you'll just settle just to save yourself money. But he ain't going to settle. He going to go to court and humiliate her and be like, you were drunk. I mean, I don't even know what her case is. It's wild.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought you remember that. Who's that tennis player that yelled at somebody that was famous that was watching?
John McEnroe is probably the most. Oh, well, Serena
Recently.
Williams yelled at the sideline person.
This is recent. No, it was an actor in the audience.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I think I remember this.
And he was like, he was like, shut the fuck up. Shut up. Like, I was like, I don't do that to your shit or something like that. It was like weird.
Whoa.
Very
It
awkward.
was to Ben
Ben
Stiller.
Stiller. Yeah.
That is.
You ever see that one? That's pretty
No.
bad. He's like, shut up, dude. Like, it was like very like, I don't even know what Ben said. It was just so awkward.
That's a nightmare
Yeah.
for Ben Stiller.
I mean, it is, dude. If you watch it, if you do want to watch it, it's just like it feels awkward. And he's not.
Try to get it in the pod for the people listening. We'll try to get it in there because that is what a nightmare for Ben Stiller.
Yeah, and it's like he's like, hey man,
Because I've had that happen at comedy shows where like I'll be talking to back and all of a sudden I'll like hear from stage like Danny. It's like.
So from what it says, and I remember the video, but Ben Stiller was essentially like yelling, like kind of saying suggestions out loud, like telling him what to do. And then he was like, "Do I tell him how to act?" No, like he yelled back. He's like, "Do I tell you how
See,
to do your
that's
job?"
That's
annoying.
insane,
but that's
though,
where
yeah.
I'm on Ben Stiller's side. I'm like, why is tennis this safe place where he's not even doing it during the shots? Then that means like in between shots when you are allowed to talk, where they grace the crowd with the ability to speak to each other.
But
He's making fun of him a little. He's not doing it during the shots. What is the problem? Fuck off. Who did
You're
it
saying
to-
they should have more strength to handle that. Would you be like, if someone who doesn't play tennis is like, yo, your backhand is off, you're going to sit there and take.
every other sport does.
Yeah, I mean, I went to
Every other sport, you're yelling at them openly.
Dude, we were watching a OHL game, Windsor Spitfires versus I think Hamilton something, and this is recent. And me and my cousin and my buddy were dying. There was a grown man going like,
This is a hockey. League, by
hockey,
the
sorry,
way.
yeah, Ontario Hockey League. They were just going, you're a fucking tool. I can't remember. I'll make up a name. Parker. You're cherry picking. And this kid's 16. They're like 50-year-old, and it makes me laugh. The level that they're going to try to ruin this kid's self-esteem, and it is
College football is hilarious.
that's what I
to
mean,
me.
though. Like,
Yeah.
it's a type of person to go home with his family and then go, can you and have snacks or food after? And they go, wow, what a wild game. I told a 14-year-old to go fuck himself.
Yeah.
Like, it's such a, and then he goes to bed.
And he goes to bed and he's like, well, and then, listen, he was trying to beat our team.
That's what I
what
mean.
choice
It's
did I have?
insane.
What choice did I have? What am I supposed to do? Not say
It's
it?
insane. And part of me was like, yeah, I think I'll get down. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because it got alluring as the periods went. I
Sure.
was like, but I couldn't do it. I don't have the strength. But I mean, it was just so funny. And this kid is like, I don't know if he can hear it. He's just looking at him like, I just felt the kid's like, hey, dude, my dad's going to pick me up.
No, I mean, there's literally players in the NBA, but the college in particular is one where like you see people yelling at college kids, and you're like, and these are teenagers. Half of them
Yeah,
are
they're not even- they're not
literally teenagers. We are yelling at teenagers. I have to remind myself watching college football because I'm like sometimes like, what is it? And I'm like, oh yeah, that's a teenager I'm rooting for,
Dude,
and it makes you never, and then you never feel older.
Yeah. Dude,
you
the
feel
rest-
100 years old.
Heckling someone at wrestling events is fun because but also hilarious because it's not
Wrestling
not like
being professional wrestling.
Yeah, it's not
Well,
like
professional wrestling, they want you to.
no, I know it's just like,
Yeah.
but it's so funny because you're how invested you are in a fake character is like super. I mean, I love it.
preaching
I'm
to the
same
choir.
same thing. I'm
I
like,
love wrestling.
dude, I used to fucking hate Shawn Michaels and Undertaker because I was a Bret Hart fan. I love Bret Hart, so I was like, I'm not. You are hurting Canada.
Oh, that makes so much sense.
You know,
Oh, I mean, and this is now too inside baseball for this podcast, but Bret Hart in Canada is one of the most interesting. When he was a good guy, when he was a good guy, he'd go to Canada and he was the greatest guy.
Yeah.
But when he was a bad guy in the States, he would go back to Canada and he would be a hero.
they love them.
So they'd have to change the entire way the story was being told when he'd go back to Montreal in particular. He would go back. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Well, I'm still hurt by the Montreal screw job. I don't even like. It's very hard. I've seen documentaries.
Too long a tale for
I
this
can't.
podcast.
It's
Although
still-
we do an episode on it you can go back to the episode I did with Skylar Aston during the pandemic. We talk about the Montreal screw job and break it down. But
It's. I don't even want to talk. It's
it's-
emotional. I was like, they fuck you. Like this. Like yeah.
It's horrible. It's a terrible event.
It's a Canadian pride, dude.
But
In
with-
Montreal, I can't even talk
But
about.
with that said, Anna Palace suing a player for being too drunk.
Well, okay.
Let's wrap it up. Bye. Oh, hey, during this break in the action, I have nothing else to say. I just want to give us a break in the action. Thank you for watching. Keep subscribing, rating. All right, let's go back. And we're back. What an episode it was. Dave, thanks for being here, buddy.
Man, I had a great time.
It's fun, right?
I mean that. Not that I've never meant it, but I probably haven't. But I mean, I mean it. I mean it.
I think it's fun. It's fun doing a podcast where you don't talk about comedy too much.
Yes, I thoroughly enjoyed not talking about comedy.
Tell the people where you are and what they can do.
I mean, September 30th, make sure to tune into Hulu for the new season of Ramy.
Let's go.
Season 3, I'm telling you, from filming it, it's like, I think it's one of the best seasons.
I can tell you from knowing things, I will say that a text message from me was sent going, it's not worth it at one point during the filming of that show. So that is how hard it went in trying to be a great season. It's going to be a very good season.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's like from the first 2 to this, it's going to be really great. So I think you can see it in other countries as well. I know in Canada for sure you could see it at Stars, Crave.
Ramy's available everywhere.
Yeah, Ramy's, it's everywhere.
If Hulu isn't making that an international show, what are we doing?
No, it is. So I was going to give you all the details. And then in Saudi Arabia, it's on this channel.
Okay.
Imagine. And then if you want to VPN my comedy special, I Love You Habibi, because it's only in Canada now on Crave. VPN it, live your best life, and
if nothing else, follow him on social media.
Follow me on social media, man. Dave Merheje.
Noah.
Grab the mic.
Follow me on socials. I'm going to be traveling a little bit coming up, doing some festivals. I can't announce yet where those are at, but yeah, I'm excited for that. So hopefully I'll be in your area. Come up and say hi and that you're a fan of the pod. And I'll text Danny, and so he'll know that.
Oh, yeah. That does make me feel good.
That's very sincere.
It is very sincere. We're a very sincere podcast.
I mean, that's what you need. A lot of these podcasts now are just like about going at people's throats with their topics. It's very like
shit talking. Particularly when they're like shit talking, I'm like, we're talking about a person we know.
Yeah. Like it's like every podcast clip in now is like abortion. You're like, I can't.
Oh my god!
It's like
there's a podcast I'm on. I won't say which because I don't want people to ever watch it. But I literally halfway through was like, are you just trying to get me mad? I've kind of ducked a couple hard topics you keep bringing me into, and I'm sort of like have fun. And it's like, are you trying to like? I clearly don't want to talk about. This is something I would. You can find me. I'll plug one thing. The September 16th through 18th, I'm in Telluride, Colorado, at the Blues and Brews Jazz Festival. But I'm one of the few comics at it. I'm very excited about it. I think it's gonna be really fun. And then I can't give the date yet, but I will say we are getting close to special number 2 being released. We know platform, we know things, we know what's about to happen. We are excited. Stay tuned. Get excited. Get pumped up. Let's fucking go. And with that, we close on our final segment. There's a little thing called 3 Shots of Glory.
Oh, I have to.
You get 3 shots.
How are you going to throw that at me?
You get 3 shots from the couch to the hoop.
Can I put the mic down?
You may put the mic down. I will now be announcing. So, Dave, and for those of you listening, Dave Merheje line it up. First shot, well short, but you could see that he's figuring it out. Shot number 2, he's feeling good. Very close. Very close. Take a second. Here we go. Last shot.
Come on.
Just a little short.
That was close.
We'll see you next week.
You're a number 1 fan, so you know the stats. Heard all the pundits talking, so you know enough of that. Maybe it's time to hear some crazy folks chat about all the other stuff that's behind the net. But maybe you don't care about playing ball, and you want to hear the gossip whether big or small. Maybe it's time to hear some funny folks talk about what goes on when the batter don't walk. Maybe you'd like to hear a little more. Maybe you don't even care about sports. Either way, go on and buckle up your shorts. Cause this is everything but the scores with Danny Jollis. Yeah, doggity.